What's up, wrestling fans? This is Kenny Cummins here, chilling with Kenny C right here on TMVCafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. Joining me at this time, let's just say that this lady has been staying pretty active on the wrestling scene for the last few months, most notably at Elite Wrestling Alliance. Their next show is this Saturday at the Thornhill Education Center, and she will be in the corner of this individual, Adrian Alexander, in a hardcore match. And it's gonna get very wild at Frankfurt. I'm joined with Morgan Jane. She's with me right now. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Thank you so much for taking the time and chatting with me.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
So I've been watching you for months. I see you in New South. I see you in EWA. I'm pretty sure I've seen you in other promotions just hanging out, but I gotten to see you in your manager field in EWA. So there's a match coming up this Saturday. Tony Corral of the Outlaws is going up against Adrian Alexander, and you will be in Adrian's corner. Now, this has been going on for months between you and the Outlaws. You wanted to be a part of the Outlaws, and Tony has said no. And you keep trying to convince them, hey, I want to be on board. And then I think it was the last EWA show when they viciously attacked you, and that got Adrian involved. And here we are with this hardcore match. So
Right.
talk about this circumstances from your perspective with the Outlaws, and what's your mindset going into this hardcore match this Saturday with Adrian?
So my thought process is like, when I started trying to become a part of the Outlaws, uh, with me being in training, a training has to start somewhere, right?
Yeah,
Like we can't just, it's not, I don't, nobody wants to get thrown into the wolves. Now, sometimes it has to be like that, but not when it, like my situation, like I did not want that. So I wanted to be with somebody that I could trust. And I had been watching Tony Corral and the Outlaws for several months, and I was not gonna take no for an answer. I was going to bug them continuously, and then what happened at the last show kind of messed all of that up because they wanted to get a point across, but it point was not across. I think they just, I don't know.
yeah, it was very, very personal that took
Yeah.
place last month.
Um, with Adrian, with me being his trainee, it makes sense for, him to try to get Tony, knock some sense into Tony, but obviously at the last show that didn't really happen. But this Saturday in that hardcore match, I do think that there are going to be a bunch of points that are going to be proven. You just can't, there's just some stuff that you can and can't do. I mean, you can do them, not really supposed to, though, if that makes sense.
yeah, so it's and Adrian and Tony, they got history with each other dating back to Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling. For the past couple of years, I've been to one of those shows. Um, I've seen them teamed up in person. So with Adrian, he brought Elite Wrestling Alliance to Frankfurt once Kentucky Elite Pro Wrestling closed their doors. There was a void to be filled in Frankfurt, and to EWA's credit, they filled that void. I've been to the last 3 shows. Very well run organization. I think everyone has done a terrific job with the shows, and I look forward to see it grow and flourish. Um, but with this match with Adrian and Tony, it's gonna be a very personal match. This ain't gonna be no um chain technical esque match. This is gonna be a hardcore match. So if you're sitting in the front row, just consider yourself warned that they might be coming your way. So it's best for you to get out of the way. Uh, so Morgan, you and Adrian have history yourselves. Y'all have been in multiple promotions. So what's it like just being with Adrian for a big match like this?
I'm really looking forward to it. I've been managing Adrian for about 5 months now. 5 or 6. I'm pretty sure it's 5 though. I had originally I started training originally in 2016, and then I stopped in 2019 and had no intentions on coming back for personal reasons, but it was not happening. And then I went through a situation that caused me to move in with my best friend in Bowling Green. And when I did, she had told me I quit going to shows as a fan even, and she was like, "Hey, I got us tickets to the show. We should go." And I was like, "No, I'm not going," because I knew what was going to happen if I did. So I was like, "No." So she's like, "Well, too bad. I already got the tickets." So we ended up going to that show. Well, then that night she's like, "I got us tickets to another show tomorrow," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So ended up going to that show. Well, that show is, I guess, technically when I met Adrian. He had a match with Oliver Gunner, and after the show, Taylor and I had like taken a whole bunch of pictures throughout that show. So we post, or I didn't post. I don't think I posted my pictures. I might have, but Adrian had messaged me and asked if he could post those pictures, like repost them. I told him yes, that's fine. Well, little did I know, Taylor over here is talking to him about like wrestling and also giving him the pictures that she took at that same show. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, my best friend used to wrestle." And he was like, "Oh really?" So he ended up messaging me and he was like, "Hey, I heard you used to wrestle. You had to quit. Um, I really think you should come back because I don't think it's fair that you had to quit." And I was like, "No." I was like, "I'm not interested in coming back. I just don't want to." And it took a little bit of convincing, back and forth, back and forth. He said, "At least come to the Elite Wrestling Alliance show." And I was like, he was like, "Just meet the trainers, you know, meet the workers, and let's see if that spark is still there." And I was like, "You know what? Okay, I'll give it one more shot." I was like, "I don't think I'm gonna come back, but we'll just see what happens." I showed up to that first Elite Wrestling Alliance show, and I got in the ring and started bumping around, and I have not left since, and don't plan to. So, within those months, with me showing up to training, doing training, um, getting to know Adrian, getting to know everybody else, I've done a lot of studying. So, for me to be beside Adrian during this match it means a lot to me. So, I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything plays out.
Check out Elite Wrestling Alliance Hardcore Havoc this Saturday at the Thornhill Education Center. You can get your tickets online or you can get them at the door. I believe early access is at 6. Doors open at 6:30 and bell time is at 7. And of course, Tony and Adrian going head to head, hardcore match. Morgan will be in Adrian's corner. For Adrian, this feels like a little over a year in the making for him, given the history he has with Tony. And with you being in the center of things, it feels like it got even more personal given the history that y'all two have with each other. I'm glad that shout out to Taylor. I know her. I've seen her at the shows. I seen y'all two together. Got the BFF vibes and everything. See you in New South as well. So I'm glad that you came back. I'm glad that you're here and getting the opportunities that are presented to you, being a vital part of Elite Wrestling Alliance, being that female presence. You know what I'm saying? So I will be there on Saturday. And of course I'm rooting for Adrian. I don't like them outlaws. I don't like them guys. They up to no good. So you getting to get a closer view of that. Adrian gonna do what he do. Um, that's gonna be quite the show overall. So it's a very stacked show for Frankfort, Kentucky. So everybody go check that out. So now that you are back into West, you're back into the fold, you're doing numerous shows. Um, what else you have in store for wrestling fans and maybe appearances in different promotions? What else you got in store?
I am scheduled to appear at Allied Pro Wrestling. That next show is November 11th. I believe it's in Boonville, Kentucky. We are in the process of trying to set me up for my first wrestling match, which I'm really looking forward to. I just want to be the best that I can be and know I can be.
Okay, Mark and Jane about to get in the ring. Okay, all right. I'm looking forward to that. Allied Pro Wrestling. That's in November. Go check that out. So now that I'm getting familiar with your work, familiar with you, as far as the manager side or valet side, who's some of your influences? Who inspired you as far as you having that role as a manager?
Um, so I honestly, when I first came back, I never really studied like management just because I've always wanted to wrestle. But I remember when AJ Lee would manage Dolph Ziggler, I've watched some of her stuff. Just a little bit of everybody trying to get like vibes, especially with, you know, being like a heel manager, and then I've seen some babies have or like not managers, but like companied ballets. I kind of just study everything and everybody.
So yeah, I could see some AJ in you doing some skipping a little bit. And I could see that. You got the same hair as her, obviously. So that's intriguing for sure. So you said you want to eventually get that first wrestling match and get that first match in per se. Um, how are you feeling about the training you've done up to this point? How are you feeling about everything leading up to that potential first match?
I'm extremely confident. I've worked really hard the last several months that I've been back. Putting pretty much everything I have into training. I don't want to say frustrated if I don't do something right, but I'm so emotionally invested into everything that I do when it comes to wrestling. I've had parts where like I've trained and I just can't really get something exactly, so I'll get really frustrated and I'll cry. And then like once I get it, I'm like fine. But I think that I'm not gonna say that's what makes me different, but like it's an emotional attachment that I have to wrestling. So like I have to like be a perfectionist. Even though I've only been back a couple months, have to make like if I don't get something, I will do it and do it, do it, do it, do it until I get it, and then I just throw it in with things that I'm already working on or was working on, and it all kind of clicks together.
Definitely appreciate that response because it shows that you care about this. You want to be the best that you can be, and you are around people that's going to help bring the best out of you. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Morgan Jane, the wrestler, in the foreseeable future. You definitely have a lot of people that's rooting for you, that cheer for you, want to see you give this a shot and go as far as you can. So yeah, the manager thing, you're doing fine with that. You're getting that. You got it all patted down. You're doing great. But people are gonna really. I think a lot of people are gonna be in for a treat once they see Morgan Jane, the wrestler, go out there and perform. I'm looking forward to it. And I've only known you for months from a distance. We've been in the same shows, probably waving hi to each other, and, you know, but it's good that you are back. You know,
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of Morgan Jane down the road. So, but for foreseeable near future, you can check her out at EWA Elite Wrestling Alliance, Frankfort, Kentucky, Thornborn Education Center. Get your tickets for EWA. It's a fun show at Frankfurt. And Adrian Alexander versus Tony Corral in a hardcore match. Ooh, yeah. So if you hardcore match, that's gonna be very physical. It's gonna be people gonna be feeling real sore by the end of the match. But Adrian, like I've seen Adrian, you've seen Adrian, you know what he's capable of. Especially in a big field match like this. He's not gonna take this light. Like he's gonna go all in on Tony this Saturday, and I'm looking forward to this. So Morgan, where can people find you in social media? Keep track of your wrestling journey. Where can they find you?
My Facebook name is Morgan Jane, and then my Instagram and my Twitter are both the period Morgan Jane.
All right, so check out Morgan Jane this Saturday. Pretty, with the blue color that she loves. I'm pretty sure you'll see her in some blue, maybe this Saturday, but you're gonna see her either way. Uh, so and Alive Pro Wrestling, she'll be there as well. She'll keep you updated with upcoming events that she's gonna be a part of. But stop by this Saturday, say hello, get a picture with her,
Absolutely.
have fun, chat it up with her, give her some boost of confidence. Who knows? I have a feeling you're gonna get your hands on Tony too, because after what happened last month, yeah, revenge is on the menu for Saturday.
It's definitely a possibility.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's great to have you, Morgan. Thank you so much. Great to chat with you, and look forward to seeing more of you in the wrestling realm moving forward. And thanks again for your time. I'll see you this Saturday.
Sounds great, and thanks for having me.
Great chatting with you. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.